Hello, I'm Amanda Hocking, and this is my cat, Squeakling Monroe. She'll probably be crashing this video because, well, she already has. She just wanted to hang out here, so she has. You might see her or hear her because she's a very vocal kitty. That's why her name is Squeak. But you also might not because she's Squeak and she does what she wants. So everything is fine with me. My allergies are really bad. They were bad before I brought the cat in here, but she's definitely making it worse. So I might be a little sneezy and whatever, but I'm fine. So I am back with another edition of What If Wednesdays. And last week I did a video on what if Wendy had made a different choice in the Trill trilogy. And a lot of people really liked it. They really enjoyed it. It is a question that I get a lot. And even though I am very happy with the choice that Wendy made, it's still fun for me to think about, what if other choices were made. So for this week, I thought I wanted to do something a little different for What If Wednesday. This week I'm going to do What If Watersong were a TV show. The Watersong series, as you may know, is a 4-book series. It was 4 books and 1 short story. Wake, Lullaby, Title, Elegy, and the short story Forgotten Lyrics, which is also included in the paperback version of Lullaby, or you can buy it individually as an ebook. Because it's a short story, you can't buy it on its own, though. It's just too short. Watersong was also my first series that was first published with a traditional publisher. And so for you that don't know the whole story, I'll just do a really quick little, recap. I started self-publishing with My Blood Approves in the Trill series. They were the first 3 books in the original Trill trilogy, and the books sold very well, and so then I was approached by a publisher. By the time I had my publishing deal for Watersong, I had also already had a film deal at the time for the Trill series. And the books were selling very well, and they were, and I was really, I was really proud of how well the books were doing. It was it was just really resonating, and it was kind of a really crazy time. But so the Watersong series actually went to auction between other publishers, and my publisher at the time, St. Martin's Press, won, and they published the 4-book series. So I went into it at the time thinking that it would likely be a TV series. It was because I didn't fully understand exactly how finicky everything in the entertainment industry can be, even though I kind of knew it's, once you go through it, you'll see it's a crazy industry. So I thought that there was a high likelihood of Watersong being a TV series. I wrote it as novels, obviously, because I write novels. But I also, in the back of my mind, was thinking about how would this look as a TV series. So I've always kind of envisioned Watersong as a bit of a TV series. And so that makes it kind of like a unique thing. I thought about it more how I would transfer to screen than probably most of my other maybe all of my other books. I really have thought the most about how it will translate. It was also, I think, with the mermaid siren, the transformations and things like that. It felt very visual, and I think, a lot of with mermaid swimming and stuff, it does feel like a very visual thing. And it was something that I wanted to see. I wanted readers to see more so than some of the other stuff. Even though honestly, I do want to see all the things from all my books, except for the gore. I write gore just fine, and I read gore just fine. I can't stand watching it, though. So, there's that. But so, if the Watersong were a TV show, what would I want it to look like? It would be, well, I've done a Dreamcast for Watersong if it were to be live action, and you can check that video out in my Watersong Dreamcast. And I think it would still be very cool as live action, obviously. And the technology today, even to do a TV series, it's so good. The stuff that they've been able to do, even, I watch TV, and, from Stranger Things to What We Do in the Shadows, and obviously, Game of Thrones, even that's a few years back now, but what they were able to do special effects wise it's just been so stunning. Even even getting better and better for even small scale stuff. There was even some of the, I remember, so it's silly, but in the Orange is the New Black finale, final season a few years back, they had a CGI bird in there, and I was thinking about how good the CGI was. And back in the day, you couldn't get any good CGI on TV. I even remember it wasn't that long ago where they had that Marvel TV show where they blew their whole budget, and this was back before Disney Plus and stuff, but I don't remember what it was called. The show is called, and I don't know if that'll probably at it and hearing words, and then like, oh, this is cool, but they spent all the money on just getting that giant bulldog, and it really was. The bulldog did look good, but it was so expensive for those kinds of things, and the dragons in Game of Thrones used to be like so expensive, and now you see what they're able to do with smaller scale shows that have smaller budgets, like What We Do in the Shadows. Their special effects are just amazing and stuff, so I definitely think that we could really, and also the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, I almost didn't say that, that's crazy, because they didn't do just, their practical effects were stunning, and obviously, again, that was very expensive, very arduous, and so I don't know if that's something that would make it likely, but I think they could do something amazing with Watersong for live action. All that said, how I really envision Watersong as a TV series is animated. I really think it would make a wonderful, a very fantastic, like about 45 minutes long teen drama. I mean, they have a lot of like dramatic anime shows that have more serious storylines and a lot of drama and even just romance plots and stuff. But primarily, animation in the U.S. is very much treated as a vehicle for comedy. It's, you know what I mean? It's either for children or it's adult comedy, but it's all funny. It's all funny. And even when things are, tackling serious things, like some of Pixar movies do that a lot, it's still very much, it's funny and it's aimed at children. And so I think having something that is a drama and aimed at teens, and obviously there's some funny moments. I think Marcy's hilarious, and she'd be hilarious no matter in live action or animated. But I think it would translate so well. And I think it would be so much fun, and to really be able to see the girls and, Gemma and Pen and all their glory and all their different shapes and forms, I think it would be so cool. It would also make the gore more palatable for people like me who wrote this but don't actually like watching gore. So, because there is some gore. Recently, I read a review of Watersong, and it was recently, and they said they just didn't like it. They had read like the first 2 books. They were going to quit reading it because the mermaids were so mean and scary, and they wanted to read a happy mermaid book. And I honestly, I hadn't considered that people wouldn't want to read about scary mermaids. I was just kind of thought, I mean, everything in the water is inherently kind of scary to me, whether it's a dolphin or a shark or a mermaid. Like, they breathe under water, and it's so alien to me that it's just naturally kind of terrifying. And so, like, yeah. But no shame against that person. I understand. Like, I very much believe that not everything is for everyone, and that's okay. And so if I wrote it and it's not for you and that's not how you want to play with mermaids, I get it, because I get weird about I've got ideas about how I think things should be, and sometimes I don't like it when they're not. I have a lot of strong opinions about Batman, for example. But anyway, with Watersong, though, I think it would be really cool to do that as animated. I would also like to, I would actually see a lot of music used in it. It's because it's very musical, so not like it necessarily like Glee or even like My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but more like The Boys, where like they use a lot of cool music and music is intrinsic, but the characters aren't necessarily singing. Although, especially because it's animated, I'm not opposed. I mean, they have to sing too. First of all, they're sirens, but I'm not opposed to them having more songs and stuff. I think that would be really cool and really fun. However, that would be expensive and time consuming and not necessarily a possibility, but I'm saying if it was a possibility, it would be awesome. And then also, I love the music, and I talk about it too. The soundtrack for this is really important to me because obviously it's music and water based. I mean, it's called Watersong. Some of the books are named after music and stuff, so it's musical. And so, the Florence and the Machine, I would definitely want Florence and the Machine to be involved in some capacity. Like, it would be especially spectacular if she would write a song for it, but I would be thrilled to just be able to use any of her songs and have it with the mermaids, and the crazy thing is the album What the Water Gave Me came out after I had started writing these books, and I think I had written most of them, if not all of them, and it was just, it fits so perfectly. It was like it was written for this, and so I love it so much, and I would love to be able to incorporate some of that music with it, for sure. I wouldn't make a lot of, obviously, because I was writing it with the idea that it would be a TV show, I added the characters and space for there to be more characters to come in and more places for them to grow, and to give them hangout in places like that, like set pieces, to have like regular places. That's why Pearls was in there. Pearls is the restaurant they talk about. I wanted to have a place where the kids could kind of hang out and stuff and have it be a localized thing. And I didn't want it to be the high school. I said it during summer, and I was just like totally, I don't know, I was not in the mood to write high school. I think I talked about that recently. But so there's no high school in it, so I didn't want the high school to be the centerpiece. So that's why I created Pearls and the island and some of the other stuff going on. Although obviously I think if it was a TV series, again with animated it would work better than it could just be over the summer. But I think if you're talking about like a live action, it's more they're gonna have to go through more time. And so there'd be more aging and stuff going on. But that could be cool. There could be different stuff they could do with that there. The biggest change, though, that I think I would actually make, is I would gender swap Alex. I would make Alex a girl. It makes everything just fit. It makes so much more sense. So now Gemma is a lesbian or bisexual. Because I think that I kind of wanted it in the beginning, but it was a long time ago, and it was easier for me to... I was afraid, because I remember when I first wrote the trilogy, I was afraid of saying that Tove was gay. It was only originally when in the self-published version, I only hinted at it. He was coded as gay, and there were hints, but I never explicitly said it because I was afraid of how people would react. I think, I don't know if I was just more self-conscious about things, or if it really was that far back in terms of accepting LGBTQ, because this is, I guess I didn't, especially because I thought it was my first book and stuff, I was more worried about it being accepted and parents being upset, and I didn't want to be on a banned book list or anything like that, and I didn't want to alienate publishers, especially readers and things like that. So I don't know, these aren't the choices that I would make now, obviously. And so when I went with the publisher, immediately, though, I was like, this is dumb, I'm not going to code it. And Tove has been overtly, openly gay, since then. He always was in my head, though. So that's, like, the thing is, and I was talking to a reader about that today, that there are characters that have sexual orientations that, for a variety of reasons, don't make it into the text. Sometimes I just don't have a good way. If you have like a character who doesn't have a huge role, and I know that they're like asexual or trans or something like that, it's hard for me to figure out how is that going to come up? How am I going to out them when those things actually aren't affecting the main dynamic of the plot? And if it's not affecting the plot, it doesn't matter if I've really written. That's like a whole separate rabbit hole that's not even about this video. But so the moral of my story is, I think that I didn't really look into it. I had ideas about the sexuality of the characters, but I didn't dive into it too much because I was afraid of, I don't know, I was just afraid, I guess, at the time. And so now I am much more willing to do that kind of thing. This one, like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Allergies? Well, I know it's allergies. I don't know. Anyway, to me, I think, and it would also make sense with the Harper and Alex relationship makes more sense, because people felt like, I know people said they didn't really feel like best friends, and I think part of it is the awkwardness of him starting to date Gemma affected it, and because they were opposite genders, it was, I think, more noticeable. Had Alex been Alexandra, I think it would have worked better, and it would have fit better. It also opens up the possibility to have a more exciting love triangle with some of the other characters, especially the other sirens, if there can be a romantic or at least a physical attraction involved in some of Penn's interest in Gemma. Penn I had considered also primarily straight. I think out of Thea was straight. Penn I considered primarily straight. I wasn't really thinking about her as being bisexual, but I did think that she was attracted to him, and Lexi is definitely openly bisexual. I think that she showed an attraction to multiple genders and multiple people, but she was also just kind of she had a voracious appetite, and that's kind of just how I think of Lexi too. But I think that the thing about how that could really set that up, if there was stuff going on, if Gemma is torn between Alex and Penn, and I could really develop that more, and then that also puts a different triangle. It'd be like a weird square with Harper, Daniel, Penn, and Gemma, which I think would be interesting and fun. Some people don't. I do like the tension of multiple love interests and pulling them in different ways. Some people, I think, get the love square, love triangle thing, and I think at times, because a love triangle that's not well done isn't enjoyable. A well-done love triangle, for me, is always enjoyable. And so I think putting one in when it doesn't fit can be is not a good move, but I don't think they're inherently bad. I went through this phase where I thought, tropes were bad, just any kind of trope. And it's outside of tropes that are problematic, if they're harmful in some way, a trope isn't inherently bad. It just is. It's just a storytelling block, and we are drawn to the ones that we like, and we want to use them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Those are my feelings. So an animated Watersong TV show, I think, would just be just a dream to be able to watch that and explore because some of the swimming scenes and stuff like that, I feel like I couldn't get the no matter how well written a scene is, you don't get the same visual, you don't get the same feeling as watching, her dive under the water and the music soars, that kind of, kind of feeling. I think it's a lot more difficult to achieve to the same degree with writing, and so I'd really love to see that stuff, the swimming deep under the water and some of the fights underwater, and then stuff like that would be so cool to really just visually see in the transformations. And yeah, there would be a lot of fun stuff. And there's so many, there's a lot of little things that I set up to do so there could be more subplots and books. And there's even this stuff with Lydia in the bookstore too, which is really cool. And I've told before that because I was hoping the books would be really popular, and then I could do like a backdoor piloted with Lydia, and I would write a series of monster books where Monster of the Week books where Lydia and Professor Pine go and Marcy sometimes go and find and help different monsters and stuff like that. But so I think because I have these different things, these different connections, that it could be really cool. Oh, there you are. My cat. I couldn't find her, but there she is. Yes. But anyway, so that's what I would love to see if Watersong was a TV show. I think it would be absolutely fantastic and a lot of fun. And I love voice actors so much. I don't know exactly. I mean, I know, who would you want for? I mean, obviously I would want Tara Strong, but that kind of goes without saying. So I don't know. I don't know for sure who I would even want in it. Because there's just so many different characters. But yeah, the ability to sing would obviously be important, especially with the female characters. I mean, Daniel doesn't need to be able to sing. So, okay. Yeah, Squeak says that it's time to wrap up the videos. I think that I will. It's been fun thinking about what Watersong would look like if it was a TV show. I would love to hear what you would like to see if Watersong was a TV show. What ideas would you have for it? And again, you can check out my Dreamcast video too. I'll have links other places around where you can check it out. And because I'd also love to hear what your Dreamcast would be. I've changed my mind several times, but I'm actually pretty happy with my most recent Dreamcast. I think it would be really good. Yeah. And also, if you have ideas about what you would like me to talk about in other videos, other things you want to explore in What If, please leave a comment and let me know, because that's where I get my ideas from. Well, some of the places I get ideas from. I just, Also, as a reminder, it is only 2.5 weeks until... Oh, shush. It is only 2.5 weeks until Tristisha, the second book in the Seven Fallen Hearts saga, comes out, and you can pre-order it now. Otherwise, you can order it when it comes out. So until next time, stay safe, be kind, and happy reading.